Hey guys, my name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel. This is my sister,
Rachel.
And today we're going to be recommending you the most binge-worthy Netflix TV shows. They're not all going to be Netflix original shows, but we kind of like divided this into different genres and types of shows. And so we wanted to start by sharing the ones that are Netflix originals just so that they're actually on Netflix, like all around the world. And then we're also going to be talking about some of our favorite shows that are on Netflix, but they're not Netflix originals. Mm-hmm. And yeah, during this crazy time, I know a lot of people are in quarantine right now and have a lot more free time on their hands. So we thought, if you're looking for a show to binge, then we've got some recs. The first kind of genre of shows that we kind of wanted to talk about is crime drama shows. And this basically is like drama shows that kind of fall into more of the crime territory in drama. So the very first show recommendation is going to be Unbelievable, and this is a limited series that's on Netflix. This show is not easy to watch, I will say that. There are some trigger warnings for rape. This show is about this girl who was raped and nobody believes her, and then we kind of also follow from the point of view of these two female detectives in a nearby town who are trying to locate this serial rapist, and it's just
true story.
It's a true story. Yeah, it's a very, very intense show.
It's that girl that's from Booksmart. She's so good in the show.
Yeah.
And so is Toni Collette. The acting is all good, and it's all females.
The next show is going to be Jessica Jones. This one's also a Netflix original show. This one's a Marvel show, actually, and a Marvel character. We actually only watched the first season of this show. Haven't really gotten into the next couple of seasons because I heard they weren't as good. But the first season is pretty good.
Really good.
Yeah, Jessica Jones is like a badass bitch.
She has a very interesting background. All connected with like Daredevil. They all live like in Hell's Kitchen. So if you did like Daredevil or anything, like it's all in that same universe. Everything is just so interesting. And also the villain is really good, like really cool. I feel like he's one of Marvel's like strongest, scariest villains for sure.
Another one of our recent favorites is The People vs. O.J. Simpson. This is the first season of American Crime Story, and I actually just want to recommend American Crime Story as a whole. The second season is the assassination of Gianni Versace, and these are all like true crime stories. Like they're all obviously like real American crime stories. Oh my god, The People vs. O.J. is such a good show. Like it's so good. The pacing is just so great, and the acting is so great, and I love Sterling K. Brown so much.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson is
Sarah Paulson freaking kills it. Oh my god.
I know. I love how like this show doesn't really show you like the jury and O.J. Simpson's life, but it also shows you like Sarah Paulson's life and like how she's dealing with sexism in the court, and like god, it's like gut-wrenching. Like it's just terrible.
All I have to say about the assassination of Gianni Versace is that Darren Criss is amazing. Like oh my god, he was like born to play that role. Like he's so freaking good as that person, character thing person.
Sure.
Another crime drama show is Dead to Me. And this one is a Netflix original. This one is like, it's just one season so far. I don't know if there's gonna be another. There is. Oh, great. It's about these two women who meet at this group that's like a grief group. And they have something in common that we don't know about until later on in the show. And it's kind of like a mystery. Like you're trying to figure out what is happening. And it's so good.
This show is so good at balancing humor with grieving because Christina Applegate is seriously hilarious, but she's also going through something that's really traumatic and horrible. But the show is like so well written. Like I was literally laughing at times and crying at times. So it has that good balance.
All right, and then the last like crime drama show is the greatest of all time, and that is Breaking Bad. And this is both of our #1 favorite show of all time. Like nothing is ever gonna top this show for me because it has the best writing, like the smartest writing in a show that I've ever seen. Likable characters, but also like they're not even always likable, but you just root for them anyways.
It's the best show. Like
like Breaking Bad is just the best show of all time.
It just has the best character arc. So like your moral compass definitely gets thrown off with the show. I don't care.
Walter White is one of my favorite characters ever. If you haven't taken the time to watch Breaking Bad,
like get through
now is the time.
Like I always hear people like stop at like season 2 or something. Like get through at least season 3. Get through it because season 5 and 6 are literally
it's the best thing I've ever seen on TV. Next genre is gonna be horror drama. Horror.
First one is Glitch. What? I feel like it's so under everybody's radar. Like nobody saw it.
Show, right?
Yeah, nobody saw it. Yeah, it's Australian.
This is an Australian show.
These people that were once dead, like just coming back to life, and you don't know like who these dead people are and how they connected to your main characters. And then all these stories start coming together. It just has all the classic tropes in there, but the acting is like really well, and the writing is like interesting enough to keep you watching it.
So the next show is The Haunting of Hill House, which this is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's this kind of really like scary show that follows this family. It kind of is like the This Is Us of horror is what I always describe it, because it makes you care so much about this family that has all these siblings, and then we kind of get to see their life when they were kids in flashbacks at this haunted house, and then as adults and like how it's affected them in the future. So it does kind of have that same like
this show is scary though.
This show is scary. It's terrifying.
But it's also really good. Like really good drama though. I mean, yeah, it has horror elements, but
and it's really well written.
And directed.
Yeah, and directed.
The camera work is so good.
And the show is kind of known for like having some shots in the background that you don't notice the first time you see it, and then you rewatch it and you're like, what the fuck?
And it's one of those shows too that has really good child actors, like really believable child actors, so it's really convincing.
The next show is Santa Clarita Diet, which the show, I mean, admittedly, it is more comedy-like, you know, but the show actually just got canceled by Netflix, so it's only gonna be the 3 seasons that are up, which kind of sucks because if you watch the 3rd season, you know it ends on a massive cliffhanger. But this show is so much fun. I love Drew Barrymore with my whole entire heart, and she is so funny in this show. And if you didn't know what the show's about, it's kind of about how Drew Barrymore and her husband are like real estate agents together, and she dies and then comes back to life as a zombie, wants to eat people, and so then he is gonna help her go out there to find people to kill and for her to eat, and it's just the most bizarre, entertaining shit ever. Like, it's such a weird show, but I love it so much.
This one's like a little bit more like lighthearted.
Yeah, it's very dark comedy.
Yeah, very dark, dry humor.
The next show is gonna be Dexter, which if you haven't seen Dexter, now is a really good time to binge it. The whole show is over, so you can watch the entirety of it. Except don't watch the last season because the last season is garbage. The rest of the show,
it's worth it.
It's amazing. Highly recommend. And if you didn't know what Dexter's about, it's about this guy who's a serial killer who goes out there and kills other serial killers and other bad men.
He like literally works with police, like, and his sister's a detective.
But
he is a serial killer, and he has these like rages where he needs to kill people, but instead of like just killing random people, he just like takes out his urges on other serial killers.
This show is so good. It's just the last like season that really drops it.
8 is terrible. It's like they had no idea how they wanted to end it.
All right.
Next one,
Bates Motel!
My favorite.
Bates Motel is a really, really great show. So Bates Motel is actually this really awesome show that's actually a prequel to Psycho.
Like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, the movie that came out
like the old one. It's when Norman is like a teenager.
Yeah, it follows Norman Bates, a character we all know and love.
That's so
good. It is a very good TV show.
The show has a lot of triggers though for a lot of things.
Yeah, the show's very dark.
Be aware that what you're getting into. Vera Farmiga is amazing.
I know Vera Farmiga is like the best casting choice they could have possibly gone with for this show.
And like especially towards the end, it really ends with like really creepy shit. Like oh my god, like I can't even believe
it's very unsettling. Yeah. The next one is gonna be You, and for this one I'm actually strongly recommending the 2nd season, not so much the 1st, because if you didn't know, the 1st season was actually created by Lifetime, and then the 2nd season was created by Netflix, and so I feel like Netflix did a much better job at handling this show and understanding the characters. Joe Goldberg is one of my favorite characters from fiction. I really, really loved the books. Joe Goldberg is another one of those characters just like Dexter and Norman Bates and like Walter White, where you're kind of like, he's an anti-hero, you know, like you don't really agree with everything that he's doing, but like at the same time you find yourself rooting for him, you know? It's just, it's another one of those shows. It's very dark, and it's very intense at times, but it's so fucking good. And I personally love the 2nd season so much because I love his character. She's so fascinating, and her and her brother 40, like they're just a very interesting combo to watch.
Next one's The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead!
The Walking Dead. I have a lot of feelings when it comes to this show.
Love-hate relationship with The Walking Dead.
I do really like seasons 1 through 6. But seasons 1 through 6 are so good.
Yeah.
The acting is amazing. Like, Andrew Lincoln is just incredible.
Yeah, he's so
and
good.
the writing is good. And it's such a real take on a zombie apocalypse. Like, a really good real take. Like, not like Z Nation or like any of these, like, where the zombies are just fucking crazy. It's more about like humanity and what humanity is gonna do to take care of each other.
Yeah.
During a zombie apocalypse.
It's one of my favorite like apocalyptic kind of shows. The best part about this show is that it's not really the zombies that you are afraid of or that they are afraid of. It's other people.
Yeah,
it's like a fear of
live
other
humans.
people. Yeah, and it's very, very fascinating.
And then we have one of my particular favorites, American Horror Story. This show's cool because every season is like a new theme, which I think is really awesome. But I like how they kind of use the same actors, it's just a different story. So it's honestly, like, some of my favorite actors are in there, you know. I honestly watched it by myself because I was so uncomfortable, but I really liked it, and oh my god, some of that. Just the stories are insane, okay? I mean, it's literally called American Horror Story, so it's not gonna be pleasant. But the acting's good, the writing is very interesting. It's nothing like you were ever gonna see before.
Alright, the next show is Black Mirror, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's actually an anthology series, which means that every episode is like a completely different story. And they're all just kind of related because they all involve technology kind of, and they're all kind of futuristic. And it's all showing kind of how technology might turn against us in the future.
What would happen if this technology was invented?
Yeah.
And it's
so
very,
cool.
very interesting because it has a lot to say about society.
It's just the best. There are some seasons that I prefer more than others.
Yes,
but
there are actually some episodes that are so stupid. Okay, I'm gonna be honest
some that
with
are
you.
like, eh.
You gotta skip around. Honestly, I just read the descriptions. Whatever sounds interesting to you, watch that one.
We actually made a full Black Mirror review video like a while ago, so I can link that down below if you need specific episode recommendations.
Yeah, because there are specific ones that feel like mini Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Yeah.
It's good. I don't recommend the first episode. It's definitely fucking weird.
Yeah.
Next show is an old classic. Black and white.
The Twilight Zone! TV show that we watched a lot when we were kids. And this is kind of like similar to Black Mirror.
It actually feels like an old...
It's like an old Black Mirror, but like with more horror vibes, I think.
Also, too, I don't know why, but they like remade The Twilight Zone. I don't know if you guys saw those episodes. No. They don't do it justice.
No, watch the OG stuff.
Yeah, the OG is good, okay? Because it has that like old feeling. It's obviously black and white. Trust me, The Twilight Zone has some really good ones in there. It feels like the writing is so ahead of its time.
Next genre is teen drama.
Which is actually like one of my favorite genres.
Yeah, this is all the good shit, you know, and it's for all the youngins.
Oh, but it's good.
But anybody of all ages can enjoy this.
Yeah,
but the main characters in these shows are the youngins. First one is Stranger Things! Stranger Things is one of the best shows of all time, and if you haven't seen it yet, what are you even doing?
An 80s sci-fi horror, like where
supernatural,
like superpowers and shit, and it's so good. It's so good.
11 is one of the best characters
you just
I've ever watched.
You just need to see it. Honestly, if you've been pushing it off, like, why?
Yeah,
just watch it.
It's so good.
Just sit there and just turn it on.
And there's 3 seasons so far, and each season kind of has like a different vibe to it. Alright, the next show is I Am Not Okay With This.
Very new.
Which is a very new show. Yeah, it just came out recently. But
good.
This is another one of those like teen drama shows that are so fun to watch because the main character is really young. She's like in high school and she's, you know, moody, going through her like teenage phase.
Very relatable.
And she's so relatable and she's so funny. And then it's about her discovering that she has some kind of like supernatural abilities and she's trying to learn how to control them. So it's actually like a really fun superhero origin kind of story.
Oh, I love it. It has everything I need.
It's so funny.
Really dry humor.
Yeah, and it's the girl Beverly from It, if you watch the movie
and
It.
And
the guy Stan from It. Yeah, it's a really cute, quirky, weird show. Like, I just love it so much.
We like flew through it.
Yeah, we flew through the show in like 2 days. One day.
One day.
Another show kind of like this is The End of the Fucking World. This is another one that we flew through in like 1 day, and
it's so good.
This one's really interesting and it's
British.
Yeah, it's a British show.
Quirky, funny,
it's
cute,
really funny,
awkward.
But it's about how this guy, he has like this urge to kill, and so he actually only befriends her because he wants to kill her.
Yeah, he dreams about killing her.
Yeah, like that's why they became friends in the first place. It's very unique. I've never seen anything like this show.
But good.
And then another one.
Atypical.
Yeah, Atypical is another show. This one mainly follows this young boy who has autism. It's just a really cute show with some really great representation in it. It's just the softest thing.
Yeah, his family in the show, like the plot, the storylines, where it goes. It's actually like really heartwarming. It actually brings a lot of awareness to autism.
And then the last like teen show that I wanted to recommend is Insatiable, which I know that this show is like super controversial for some people, but I personally thought this show is so fucking funny. Like this show is definitely like a satire, like it's not meant to be taken seriously at all, but it's just so funny, and I just love all the characters in this show. Like I just think it's so entertaining, and it's just this kind of like weird drama show about this girl that like gets into pageants. And like if you've ever liked watching like Toddlers and Tiaras or like any of those like cheesy pageant shows, then I think you might like this, just because the whole thing is kind of revolving around pageants and her trying to like get revenge on anyone who ever like bullied her and stuff. All right, next genre is gonna be comedy shows. So the first one is gonna be Parks and Rec, which this is a show that is completed in its entirety, so you can watch the whole thing.
The first season is dry, okay? Not gonna lie. I was like, what in the hell is going on? But then 2 through like 6 is
so good.
Hysterical. Like
so funny.
Like I literally just like cry thinking about some of it because it's so funny. It's just so funny. Amy Poehler.
So good.
Adam Scott.
Yeah. Another great sitcom comedy show is New Girl. New Girl is like one of my favorites. The show actually recently just finished, so you can watch the entirety of New Girl.
All the seasons are good in New Girl.
All the seasons are so good. I love Jessica Day is one of the most relatable characters of all time for me. I just love her so much. Yeah, and Schmidt is like one of my favorite funny characters to watch. He's so good.
Probably the best character.
Yeah, he makes the show.
Like let's be honest.
He literally makes the show.
Dude, Cece and Jessica's relationship though.
So cute.
Cute as fuck.
Love them. And I love that this show kind of starts off with Jess being the only girl to move into this apartment with 3 other dudes that are like strangers.
Yeah.
It's very like unique. Like,
dude, Winston's funny though.
Yeah, Winston's
God, dude, Winston's hilarious. He's so awkward.
Yeah, this is such a good show. If you haven't seen New Girl, like watch it.
Next is Shameless.
Yeah, another comedy show, Shameless. I don't know if everyone would consider this a comedy because it definitely teeters on the edge of like comedy drama.
It's dark.
It's darker for sure, but oh my god, I love this show with my whole heart. And this show has a lot of seasons to binge too if you have a lot of time. It's so much fun to watch this Gallagher family, and it mainly just follows around this extremely unique and funny Gallagher family who lives in Chicago.
And it's definitely about them being shameless because
they're very shameless.
Trust me, sometimes like the show like makes me a little mad. Like I'm gonna be honest, okay? Like I've stopped watching it and then rewatched it and then stopped it and then rewatched. It is pretty good. Like
it's
most of its seasons are good and it is like worth watching.
But yeah, my favorite character by far is Lip still. Another comedy is Jane the Virgin, which this one also recently finished, so you can watch the whole thing in its entirety. And this show is mainly about this girl played by Gina Rodriguez, who is one of my favorites, and she accidentally gets inseminated when she's going in for her pap smear, and
she gets pregnant.
And she's a virgin. And it's just the funniest shit ever. And honestly, like Jane, her character is one of the most relatable characters of all time for me because she's like, you know, she wants to be a writer. Oh, she's just the best. Like, and her family honestly reminds me so much of our family back home in California because our family back home in California is Mexican, and so like Jane's family in the show and the way that they speak Spanish so often, like it honestly just feels like home.
Yeah, the way they go into Spanish and English, like
back and forth. Like it just very much feels like our own family. So I definitely feel like right at home when I watch this show because of that. And I just love and adore Jane's family so much. Like they have one of the cutest TV families I've ever seen. Yeah. And Jane, Raphael, and Michael is one of the best love triangles I've ever seen.
Oh my god, I know. I've never been like more torn with the love triangle.
I've been like, like one season I'm like, but Raphael, and then the next season I'm like, but Michael. And then the last comedy show that we wanted to recommend is, this show takes place in the 80s.
And it's very vibes. Alison Brie.
Yeah, Alison Brie
is a freaking queen, okay?
Alison Brie is so good.
She's hilarious, okay?
Yeah, she plays this kind of Russian character with this wrestler.
Oh my god,
she's so fucking funny. Yeah, but this show's very unique. It's mainly just about these women who are actresses and they're playing wrestlers, and so they just come up with all these different like routines choreographing wrestling, and it's very interesting. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
And the main storyline between like our two female leads is very interesting too.
It's very interesting.
It's very funny. Like, oh my god, it's just so
there's some strong feminist themes in this
show,
which I really appreciate. All right, and then the last type of show is like reality shows, like stuff that's like real and stuff that is not fiction.
First one is gonna be Queer
Eye. It's like a reality show about these 5
makeovers.
Yeah, it's a makeover show.
It's a makeover show.
Yeah, these 5 fabulous gay men do makeovers for all different kinds of things, and it's so much fun to watch, and it's such a feel-good show. Like, if you need to feel good and like happy,
oh my god, you're always crying by the end of it.
Like you'll be crying, but like in a good way.
What's amazing is one of them does food, so he changes your food lifestyle. One of them does your wardrobe. One of them does your hair. One of them does like a soul searching, and then the other one does like your house. So it literally is a makeover for everything. That's why I love it, because I used to watch those like makeup makeover shows or hair makeover, wardrobe.
This has it all.
It has it all. Even your house. Like, oh my god. Next one is gonna be 100 Humans, for all the psychology lovers out there. Yeah. There are these 3 scientists who take 100 humans of all ages, of all races. They just have them do a bunch of different psychological experiments and tests, and like seeing what the average human like reacts to and likes and dislikes, and oh my gosh,
like test your like bias towards certain things, and they test like what your age group is good at.
It's so creative. It's like it kind of reminds you of like brain games, but like more about like stereotypes. They just have them do stuff, and then they like record their actions, and then they show you the data like at the end of it, and it's just very interesting. Yeah,
it's really cool.
They like group them up sometimes by age, and they group them up sometimes by like
gender.
Yeah, gender. It's very cool. Like, the next one is gonna be Awake, which is like a game show. And let me try to explain to you this game show, because
it's very weird.
It's unique. They have to be awake for 24 hours in this room. And while they're in the room, they have to count as much money as they can in only quarters. And then at the end of their 24-hour session, they go up and they say their number that they think they counted. You go on the game show after your 24 hours. You still have to be awake. And they do these like competitions, okay? And
like people that are sleep deprived don't do very well.
No, but they do. It's cute because on this, like during the competition, they have little facts like, this actually is a lot harder. Like, they have them do a screaming contest, okay? And a screaming contest is actually very hard. They say your voice gets really rash if you haven't had sleep. It's, like, cool because it puts, like, little things in the corner. At the end, they have to, like, whoever's, like, winning, like, beating out all the competitions, at the end, they have an option to just take, like, $10,000 if they want. Or if they were $500 near their number, like, that they actually counted the quarters in the beginning, then they get to keep that money, or they can compete to go to the $1 million thing, and they have to be $25 within their number that they guessed in the beginning. It's freaking insane, okay? Like, this is like Minute to Win It meets like Deal or No Deal, okay? Like, it has every competition show that you've ever watched in one.
It's really cool. And then the last 2 that we have are both kind of like true crime shows. First one is Don't Fuck with Cats. And this one is a really intense true crime story. It's actually only like 3 episodes long, so you can probably get through it all in like one night. This one is this really, really fascinating story about this guy who was putting up videos online of him like killing cats, and people got so mad that they like helped the police track this guy down, because they said if he's doing this to cats, he's gonna be doing this to humans eventually.
It's not a police thing.
It's not
even
a police.
This Facebook group that made a Facebook group to catch this guy. Like, you guys would be surprised how much we can do. Don't worry, it doesn't show what he's doing. So if you're like, oh my god, I don't want to watch that, it shows like the person talking about it watching it, but it doesn't show you anything. So
it doesn't show you
it's not showing like any animals getting hurt. Okay, but crazy. Like, they literally diagnose the video. They look to see what outlets is behind him, to see what country he's in. Like, they think of everything. Like, it's actually like mind-blowing how much like detective work they did.
Real life people as doing detective work, basically. Like, it's really fascinating.
It's so cool.
And then the second one we wanted to recommend is the Ted Bundy tapes.
Oh my gosh. Conversations with the Killer.
Yeah, this is such a good documentary show. Talks about the infamous serial killer, Ted Bundy, and how he killed over like 100 women. I think this is a really good documentary, especially if you don't know anything about the Ted Bundy case, because I personally had very little information. Like, I didn't know much about it before I watched this.
And it's only 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's only 4 episodes, so you can probably binge it all in one sitting. And it's just really intense. Like, this show is very intense to watch, but it's also like very informative. And if you're into true crime, like, it's just very interesting.
And he was a very like evil genius. Like, he was smart. He knew what he was doing.
He was like a lawyer. Like,
he was very attractive, so he would be able to lure in women that way. And his story, like, this story is wild.
For any true crime lovers out there,
it's a nail biter.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Those are all of our most bingeable TV show recommendations.
We do watch a lot, and I promise you that each one of them are good. If they sounded interesting, watch it, okay? Like, please, they're so good. And a lot of these you probably have actually already seen, but the ones you haven't, you check them out.
Yeah.
Check them out.
And if you do plan on watching any of these shows, then please, like, let us know down in the comments. And if you have any other, like, good recommendations that you want to recommend, you can leave them in the comments. Let us know how you feel about some of these TV shows that we recommended. And if you have already seen them, like, what are your thoughts on them? If you plan on watching them, then let us know that too. Let us know if you would like us to do another video of, like, the best movies to watch that are available on Netflix. And maybe we can do that too. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. And thank you for being in another video. And we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.